This is my new bedroom. I just moved into a brand new house, and growing up, I've built at least 10 different bedrooms. So I'm gonna take all my years of room building experience to finally build my ultimate dream aesthetic bedroom. And that starts with building the bed. There are a ton of parts to this bed, but when I moved, I tried keeping as much of the bed together, like all of these metal pieces and the actual four corners, so hopefully it's not that hard to put together. This is actually a queen size bed, so it takes up a lot of space inside of this small room. But I'm definitely not gonna let that stop me from building my dream bedroom. So I actually bought 2 of these nightstands, of course in black, to kind of match the bed and like all the bedding. And they are pretty simple. It's just like 2 drawers. And of course I am gonna be adding one of these to each side of the bed. Actually, before I add these to each side of the bed, I definitely wanna make sure that the bed is actually in the center of the room. Okay, so on this wall, we got about literally like exactly 3 feet. Let's measure the other side. On this side, we actually have a little bit less than 3 feet. It looks like 3 inches short. So I definitely do have to shift the bed just a tiny bit in that direction. Okay, now it's literally 1 inch extra on this side. I'm just gonna like slightly tug on the bed and call it a day. All right, that's enough. It's center enough for me. I really love how those nightstands look on each side, and this is gonna be perfect because inside of here I can store literally everything or anything that I want. I already have like few chargers, and they're definitely gonna be really good for when I actually wanna have a wireless phone charger or lamps, reading lights, RGB lights, anything like that. If you have had a gaming PC, console, or even laptop for years, do this right now. Open it up and you'll probably see a bunch of dust which slows down your PC and can cause FPS stutters since it blocks a lot of your cooling. So that's why I got this super blower called the Mega Flow 200 Air Duster. It can literally blow air up to 210 miles an hour while still being super small since it's wireless and weighs less than 1 pound. So I brought my gaming PC outside to make sure all the dust I blow doesn't get blown into my room. And after choosing one of the 4 included nozzles, I started blowing my PC and it was insane. It honestly was too powerful on level 3, so I turned it down, and in less than 1 minute, the entire gaming PC was completely clean. And unlike canned air, I could simply charge it back up or use the included rechargeable battery if I needed to, but it lasts over an hour and a half on a full charge, so I barely charge it. The biggest deal of the season is going on right now, so make sure you check out Wolfbox during Prime Day with the first link in the description or pinned comment. And thank you so much to Wolfbox for sponsoring this video. For now, the main foundation of the bedding area is done. So now let's just move on to the rest of the room. And I'm just gonna finish off this wall over here. I know there isn't much space, but I think I have a little bit of space to add a tiny shelf here. So this is basically called a corner shelf because obviously it just sits in the corner. I know it honestly is a little bit tight around here, but I just really like this shelf. It literally fits in that corner perfectly, and the best part about this shelf is it was only $25 off of Amazon. I also did add a few puck lights under it, as you guys can see, which will look really, really good when I have decorations, and especially if I have like any type of plants. It is a little bit squeezed over there, so I definitely think that is it for furniture, and I'm actually not gonna add anything over on this windowsill because I want to have it a little bit open. However, but of course, if I added something to the left side, I need to kind of equal it out and add something on the right. I am gonna be keeping it pretty simple with just a floor little plant. I think these look really, really good. Obviously, I will be adding more plants around the entire room, but for now, this will definitely do the job. And I probably will also add a light bar behind it just to add some RGB lights, but that's for later. I seriously am already loving just how good this bedroom is looking. This is like the perfect vibe I was going for. I did mention that this room is pretty small, so I actually think over on this corner, I have the perfect fix, which of course is by adding a giant giant mirror, and this one is absolutely huge. Just this mirror alone takes up like this entire corner of the room, but as you guys can see, the mirror is really, really good for fit checks whenever you get changed and you need to see how you're looking. But more importantly, why I like it is it makes the room feel way bigger, especially when you have a massive window just like this one. I have it closed because it's so bright, but when it's open, there's just gonna be more light in the room with this mirror, and dude, it just looks so good. Plus, I'm not gonna lie, it fits like perfectly over there. I definitely will have to clean all those fingerprints though, and if I try opening this, I think the door, yeah, is still easily open, so we're completely good there. And I do always love adding a little tiny rug. This is like a grass mat. It just looks good, but you could do anything you want, even like a car rug, kind of just personalize it, but it already adds some greenery and just makes the mirror area pop a little bit. Before I start adding more things to the mirror though, I actually want to add a little bit more furniture. To be honest, I'm pretty much doing a 360 around the entire room, just adding furniture, but I think this is going to be the last piece. So I actually have this clothing rack, and I just want to make sure it actually fits because like I said, this room is pretty small. If I put it here, it literally like just fits. The thing is, I need to make sure that the door clears. Dude, oh my, yo, that is so close. Oh my, I need to show you guys. So as you guys can see, the leg is literally right there, right before the door frame where I can actually open this door still. And the door is literally like maybe half an inch, including this little doorknob from hitting. It literally fits in perfectly. I think this definitely is the last thing I'm gonna add into the room. There is space over on this wall. However, I think if I add more furniture, it's gonna be just too cluttered, and I kind of do want open space when I walk in. I always love adding stuff into a room, but I think there's a point where it's like, okay, it's enough, especially if you have a small bedroom. But that doesn't mean I'm gonna leave this wall empty. I think some cool posters with like poster lights will look really, really good here. But now I want to get started on probably the most important part of every room. It's the first thing you notice whether you realize it or not. And of course that is lighting. It doesn't have to be RGB, but let me show you guys what I got. So first off, this right over here is the light bar that I will be adding behind the plant, and I'll be able to control it because it is RGB, so I can make it like a really warm and cozy light. And then I have a lot of these Govee RGB strips. I actually already have one behind this nightstand and over on this side of the bed, so I'm just going to be doing the exact same thing over there. And I also wanted to try adding one around the mirror. I've actually never done that, but I'm just going to kind of follow the like edge of the mirror and see how that looks. Hopefully it is enough light, but I definitely will have more lights around the room, including this lamp, which I will be placing on one of the nightstands. And a super cool thing is you can just get an RGB bulb. It doesn't have to be this one, but just any RGB bulb that you can control on your phone or even with a remote, and you can change it to any color. So let's start adding a lot of the RGB, and this is probably only half the lighting in this room. Of course, with the light bar, this is probably the easiest thing, and what I like to do is I actually don't like to face it towards you. I like facing it against the wall because then you get a bunch of light reflecting against the wall, especially if you have like a white or a lighter colored wall. You'll really notice this. And now it's time to add the RGB strip. As you can see, I actually used to have it on this nightstand, but it got kind of ripped when I was moving, so we need to add another one now. Okay, so now it's done, so we can just move it back, make sure we don't rip it at all. Once I have it turned on, there's gonna be a lot of RGB like all around this corner, and of course the next thing we need is the bed. Like I mentioned, there already is an RGB strip over on the left side, so I'm gonna be adding one to the right, but the more important part is also making sure I have RGB going at the top over here on this like top bed frame. I'll have it going all around because that's where it's probably really gonna show. And I'm actually gonna be starting the RGB strip over here just so the wire can like easily hide behind the bed frame and I don't have to like run it from the front of the bed and around. It's just a whole mess. So yeah, I'm just trying to give you guys some tips in case you guys try doing the same thing to your bedroom. This RGB strip is 16 feet, so I think it should be long enough, maybe just about long enough to like wrap the whole bed. Hopefully we're not missing anything. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, it is looking a little bit short. Like, we're gonna have like just enough of the RGB strip, so we should be good. Okay, wait, actually, I have a little bit more left than I thought, but yeah, this is literally like the perfect amount. I got so lucky. I'm just gonna wrap this like under again, I guess, for extra RGB, but if you guys do the same thing, you probably will need 2 RGB strips because I already have one covering the other side, and this is a queen size bed, so I mean, unless one of you guys have like a king size and it's like bigger, you might need 3 RGB strips, but 2 for most people should be good. Now it's time to do the mirror. Definitely gonna be way easier if I just flip this around and then like just add all the RGB like that way. It's gonna make it like 10 times easier. Honestly, I might have enough RGB to even double layer it in like kind of the inside, so maybe there will be like more RGB like kind of reflecting. I've never done this before, but yeah, let me just give it a shot. I just want to try it out. Plus, to be honest, one of these RGB strips is like $10 off of Amazon, which I will have everything linked down below in the description that I use in this room. And an actual floor light is like $50, maybe more. I know they go up to like $200. I don't have the ones that are that expensive, but yeah, this is like a way cheaper method than putting a floor light behind the mirror, and maybe it actually might work better. So let's actually see. I am trying to put the RGB strip as close as I can to the edge, just so like literally as much light as possible like kind of gets reflected. Okay, so the mirror is all done. We can go ahead and put it back. I think it kind of was just like this. And I know I did say I was just focusing on the lighting for now, but I just want to add this quick plant. It's not really big, but it just kind of fills out that open gap. Perfect. The last piece of lighting I'm going to be adding for now is a lamp with the RGB bulb. Like I mentioned, I seriously am going to be adding a lot more lights in this room. This probably is like only 60 to 70% of the lights. However, I think I have one more RGB bulb, so we got really lucky there. We're getting really lucky this video. This is a 4-pack, but I also will link a single bulb in the description if you guys only want one bulb and you want to save some money. But obviously, this is really easy to add. You guys all know how to screw in a bulb. Just like that, we got our lamp set, so whenever I'm reading the Bible or doing anything that I just need a little like book light, that's perfect. Also, don't forget, on this shelf over here, I have these puck lights. I really recommend them. They are RGB and just really elevate an entire shelf, especially when I start adding decorations. But before I start adding decorations, there is one thing that's kind of bothering me. I just want to get out the way. Which is this clothing rack, because it's completely empty unlike kind of the rest of the room, and I'm just gonna add some of my favorite hoodies onto it just to at least fill it out for now, and then later I definitely will be putting something on the wall above. I definitely see why a lot of people have these. It actually looks so good. I just have like a bunch of random ones, like this one I got from Paxson. This one's like an OG Phase 1. And yeah, I just have a bunch of my like most used hoodies. And if you couldn't already tell, the room color scheme is definitely like darker black. I think the black really contrasts well with the white walls. Of course, I have none of the RGB on. And actually, just by coincidence, I'm also wearing a black shirt. I just kind of like the color black, I guess. And that is another thing I would recommend. Try and go with neutral colors when you're building your room, just so then with your lighting, you can kind of change it and like fully switch up the vibe. Because if everything in here was blue, then it would be kind of weird if I wanted to go with like a color like red. But now that this is kind of filled out, I definitely want to spice it up later with like some more stuff. However, I do have some more things I actually want to decorate. Like this 5-tier corner shelf, I think I can have a lot of cool decorations here. It is a little bit on the smaller side, so I'm not going to have anything too big. And then I can get started on the nightstands and adding some like cool room tech like the Alexa, like phone, wireless chargers, all that type of stuff. But for now, I'm just going to get started on decorating this shelf, and I have no plan of what I want to add. I'm just going to add things that I think look kind of cool. I honestly really love how this shelf looks. I think the plants really add a huge touch, and I definitely will be adding more around the room. But like I said, let's actually get started on the nightstands, and especially on this. This is where I want to add a little bit of tech. So the first thing I bought was basically a wireless charger, and it is a 3-in-1. So I'm able to charge my phone, Apple Watch, and AirPods all at the same time. So this is actually going to be really useful just to make sure that I don't have a bunch of cables all over over the place, and as long as it charges somewhat quick, then I'm gonna be more than happy with it. This is honestly long overdue. It looks pretty basic, which is really, really good because I don't want anything that like kind of looks all crazy and like gamery RGB, at least in my bedroom. So it is really basic. It literally is just the power cord with the plug and then the phone charger. So honestly, very simple, but it actually all looks really, really good. And it's definitely just gonna be very useful. So I'm just gonna place this right over here. Again, this is kind of temporary. I'm gonna make sure it looks all good. I'm just trying to get like an idea of the room. And just like always, if we add something to one side, I need to add it to the other side. This room has to be symmetrical. Next up, we have an Amazon Alexa, and this one is called the Echo Spot. I honestly just have this one because it's pretty budget friendly and I don't need anything insane, but this is actually really useful for mainly, honestly, all the lights that we have in here. Most of them are Govee. This isn't sponsored by Govee, but with the Govee RGB strips and Govee lights all around this room, it's actually going to be very, very useful with the Alexa because everything can be controlled wirelessly. So I can just be like, hey Alexa, turn on bedroom, and then basically all the RGB lights will turn on. But yeah, this thing is pretty basic. It has a screen over here on the front, and it is, I think, like a 3-inch screen, so it is a decent size. It also will act as a actual like alarm clock plus a little timer. Honestly, I have one of these in my bathroom. I love it. You're able to show the time on it. You can play music because it also has a speaker. It's not the best, but I literally use it when I'm showering. So this is actually really, really useful in my opinion. And it also just looks good. So yeah, it's basically like a 4-in-1 solution and really budget friendly. So yeah, it's honestly like a no-brainer. I'm just gonna set that right over there, already looking pretty nice. Next up, I don't know if you would consider this more tech or like a gadget, but this is very, very simple. It's like $10, and literally all it is a diffuser, specifically an oil diffuser. And I literally just like this because who doesn't want a good smelling room? If you have a musty room, like if you walk into your friend's room and it smells like dirty socks, bro, like, yo, you just need this. Like, just cop it. It's like $10. And then basically the oil things, I always recommend getting the natural ones. I'm not trying to be like a weird natural freak, but probably don't want to be inhaling like artificial oils. But anyways, I literally ordered a lavender scent because I searched up the lavender scent, I guess makes you sleep better. Maybe I'll test it out. But yeah, a lot of people said the lavender scent was good for sleeping. So this is also just gonna look really good aesthetically, and it does have a little bit of RGB, a little bit of light. Of course I had to. Of course, I love RGB. And then this is just gonna be somewhere right over there. That looks good. The room is seriously looking so good, and I think one of the things I actually really like is like this hanging vine plant and just like the plants around the room. So I'm gonna add some on the nightstands, and I actually think it would be really cool if I added like a hanging vine plant on each corner of the bed. It might be a little bit overdoing it, but I just really like how plants look. It just makes the place look way more cozy. And I also have it in all of my gaming setups. By the way, if this wasn't obvious enough, these are all fake plants. There's no way I'm gonna be watering all the plants. So I definitely might remove those plants. I'm just gonna have them there for now, but obviously the next thing that's really missing is like just a bunch of stuff on both these walls. I honestly might remove both of these plants. I just have them there for now, and I think the bigger thing that I actually need to worry about is this entire wall and this one. It's still completely white. And I have a huge order coming tomorrow from Amazon with a ton of floating shelves and also some posters. So I also will be getting like poster lights and a bunch of that stuff. So let's just cut to day number 2. It's now day number 2, and I have a huge delivery of items that arrived. So inside of these boxes is a bunch of different shelves. All of these are black, of course, to match the room. I also have a ton of other accessories, and then I brought some of my posters. So the first thing I actually want to do with these posters is hang up 2 of them right over here, and also have a floating shelf go right above them. And I have pretty much every single size from small, medium, and even large. I don't think I want to use the large one. I'm going to use 2 of the medium ones. And I'm just gonna kind of mount the posters first, because that way, once the posters are mounted, I can get the exact height that I actually want, and then I can actually hang the shelves instead of doing it reverse and messing it up. So let's get started mounting everything. Okay, so I just finished putting everything together, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't really like how that looks. I did get the smaller shelf literally on purpose so I could do like the hanging plants, but it's just like too short where it doesn't even really look good. So I do definitely need to add something on both of these blank spaces to kind of balance it out, and then I think it will look good. I would just change it, but the issue is I have like 20 drill holes in there. It actually is straight, which is good, but like I'm not gonna start patching my wall and like remaking everything. So it kind of is stuck like that. I think I could have done something better, but it is what it is now. Anyways, moving on from that, on top of this clothing rack, I hopefully am not going to be overdoing it, but I am going to add 2 of these small floating shelves. I think it will look really, really good, and I think having 2 instead of 1 will just look better. I do have a size that fits this, but I think 2 will be more aesthetic, and I'm going to kind of have them at like different heights. You guys will just see kind of how it looks, but hopefully it actually looks better on this side because I definitely need to change it up somehow on the other. I really love how this looks. It actually ended up fitting perfectly, like honestly half an inch over there. And then I was worried about the door like potentially not fitting, but I would say there's barely any space, like maybe half an inch. But overall, I absolutely love this design. The only issue is maybe that this shelf is a tiny bit thicker than this one, but that doesn't matter at all because once I have all the decorations like plants and anything else that I want to put on, you literally won't be able to notice it. I just really wish I did this design above the bed, but yeah, at least we got it looking really nice here. Like this is gonna be sick. However, as you guys can see with the whole room, I obviously went with a all black look, so it only is right that I actually go with black curtains. And this is gonna be really easy because as you guys can see, there is an entire curtain rod right there, so which means I don't have to do any drilling. And one thing I want to point out is I actually put this curtain rod up like 2 years ago. I'll literally pop up how this room used to look when it was my old bedroom, so at least that means I did a somewhat decent job drilling it. And these are the curtains that I got. I'll have them linked below. They're just like basic black ones I found from Amazon. Hopefully these are the right length. I obviously don't want them going all the way down, but I think they should come down to like around here. So honestly, I might have to move that plant, and then I actually don't think I have any space to add any posters over there like I was planning on doing. But yeah, let's just unbox this and hopefully it looks good. The only issue is I literally don't have a ladder, so this like island chair from my kitchen hopefully does the job. This would be really bad, but you guys would probably find it really funny if I literally just fell. I'm really hoping I don't fall, bro. This is risky. Like, look at how much this shakes, bro. This is actually like low-key just like not smart at all, but I do not do this at home. Oh my gosh, wait, no. That is not smart. I need to lock in. Let me just take this down carefully. All right, we're good, we're good. Yeah, I literally remember, it's so easy. We just unscrew that and then let's just see our curtains. Pretty sure I did get 2 different curtains. It should be like wide enough. I low-key should have measured. I don't know why I'm like taking these risks. I should have measured on the bed, bro. I just messed up that shelf. But anyways, for these curtains, I think they should be wide enough to like, yeah. It will be like just wide enough. It should be good. I did specifically choose these actually because I didn't like it when I had like the little rings in it. I thought it just made it look a little bit like cheaper. So I just went with this one. The rod literally just slides directly in here. Like, so it is very, very easy to add. Okay, first curtain is now in. Wait, yup, there we go. And if it wasn't obvious enough, these are not only black curtains, but they're fully blackout curtains. So once I actually have these up, it will literally be so dark in the room if I didn't want any sunlight showing, so I could legit be like a vampire. Okay, and now that we have the second one in, I can just take the, I don't even know what you call this, like the little end cap, screw it back on, and then yeah, that will prevent the curtain from actually like falling off. And now it's time for the hard part, to actually get it on there and make sure I don't like eat it and just fall, bro. No, this is so risky, bro. This is actually so dumb. All right, now go like that, slide this over. Bro, come on. All right, there we go. And then I just need to get that little side off and then we're good. Oh my dude, this thing literally moves so much. I literally don't have another option though. Okay, there we go. We're all good. And let me see how it looks. I mean, okay, wait, I low-key can't open it like that much. I don't even know why, but like it's not even tangled up. Okay, it is. Oh shoot, it's not the right length. Of course I messed that up, bro. Are you? This is why you should measure because dude, it is like 2 inches. I'm not even joking. Like literally 2 inches short. Now this completely just ruined the blackout look. Like dude, I need to get new curtains now. So all that effort was literally for nothing. Honestly, I don't even care. I'm still gonna finish this video today, but I definitely will need to get some new ones like for the future if I actually want blackout curtains. And it just like looks literally horrible. But anyways, let's just finish the rest of the room already, dude. The next thing I'm gonna be doing is fixing whatever this is. And I don't think it's gonna be that bad because I think I have a pretty good idea. Obviously, I can't really move these. I'm gonna keep those over there. And instead of adding other wall shelves over here, what I wanna do is just simply add a smaller poster right over here, but that's not all. I'm gonna be pairing it with basically these poster lights. I will have other poster lights sitting under the shelf, like puck lights, but for this, it actually won't have a floating shelf. So these are basically poster lights that you can just mount directly on top, and I think it will end up looking pretty cool. I haven't unboxed them, so I don't know how they look, but this is basically the best idea I could come up with to kind of like save this part of the wall. So let's just hang up the posters. I actually have another one. Let me show you. They're both like black BMWs, of course, literally just to fit the all black theme we have going on, but I think it will actually look pretty good. Of course, though, there's only one way to find out. Honestly, I think I just had to trust the process. Those look so good. I think I might add a little bit of a taller plant on here just to kind of cover that. But dude, one thing I want to mention is these are actually like not sponsored at all, but they're actually really, really sick. They're legit magnetic, so you can pull it out and like it literally just like connects right on there, and literally just like that you can take it on and off. And also this is literally just stuck on. You can also screw it on with like those little holes, and then you can take them off to charge them. I think there is like a USB somewhere. Yeah, right over there there's like a little USB. And of course they also are RGB. So dude, that actually looks really, really sick and definitely kind of fix that weird awkward look. I still need to actually decorate over there on the top of the shelf, but dude, this is already looking way better. And I think maybe if I even wanted to add like some bigger posters in the future, I definitely could. But now the room is pretty much almost done. I actually decided I wanted to keep this wall over here empty only because when you walk in from this door, I don't want anything kind of blocking this wall. I might add posters here in the future, but to be honest, I already have a ton of posters and I'm just kind of dying to see how this room looks when like everything is turned on, like all the RGB. Very last things I actually need to do is decorate the top of this shelf, and then of course do the exact same thing over on these two shelves. And I also might add these little RGB string lights around the mirror. I'm not really sure. I did add that plant back over there. I just think it looks way better. But yeah, I just really have some small tiny decorations to add. I really do like the decorations that I did over on this shelf, so I'm gonna try and replicate it. Definitely a lot of plants. I think that really, really makes the room look really good. I really am gonna try and replicate what I did on this shelf. Definitely adding a lot of plants. I think it just kind of adds like some color, and obviously there will be more color with RGB, but just having a lot of plants in your room honestly makes it like way more cozy. And just look at how many plants I already have, and I'm probably gonna add more. And honestly, it's probably gonna take me an hour to do all the decorating over on this shelf. Overall though, I definitely am very happy with those posters. It just really makes it look a lot more full now and less empty. But now obviously the last thing we definitely need to do on this wall is the decorations on top of this shelf. Honestly, I feel like over here I have a ton of stuff going on. Like if I kind of crouch down, it just looks like there's a ton of pieces. So I'm not gonna go too crazy on the shelf. This is literally perfect. It's like a huge kind of Porsche like GT3 Lego, and it literally fits like perfectly right over here. I actually think I'll go this way, but I think these kind of two random decorations are pretty good. I am just doing this for aesthetic aesthetics. Since this is my bedroom, honestly, I easily might change this in the future, but this is basically just like a mouse box. The reason I'm putting this here is because I think it just like literally fits the color scheme, like kind of white and red. Don't even know what it's called. You guys in the comments definitely know. Like, it's definitely not Spider-Man. And like, I don't know what edition or version of Spider-Man. You guys are probably clowning me in the comments if you're like a Marvel fan, but yeah, I'm literally just purely putting that there for the aesthetics, and I think that looks really good. Here is how it's now looking. It looks way better. Those posters definitely made a huge difference, and keep in mind there is no lighting at all. That's definitely what's going to make the biggest difference in this room. And of course, it's now time to decorate above the clothes hanger, which I honestly have to say I love this so much. First thing I'm going to be adding is of course a plant, and it is another vine plant. Come on, like, I feel like this is pretty obvious. I literally have these all over the room, so I need to at least add one over here. This one is a little bit smaller, and honestly is really weird. These are obviously all fake plants. It's literally just like rubbery. It actually feels very weird, but that does look good, and it comes down like the perfect length, so we're good on that. And then I think since it's like kind of clothes over here and some of my favorite hoodies, this is literally like the only hat I ever wear. I always do wear it actually, so I'm gonna put that right over there. I think that looks really good. So since I'm still into cars, if you guys know what this is, it was basically like a huge car trend, like a quiet plate it's basically called. I just am putting this here for aesthetics, literally because it's like black and it just like looks good. So I'm gonna put this like literally right over here. I'm gonna see if I can kind of like almost have it staying up like a little bit. Okay, yeah, just like that is perfect. And if you guys couldn't already guess, of course we got some more fake plants. I literally love fake plants. I'm addicted to them. You don't have to take care of them, and they literally spice up your room. I'm just gonna add one right over there and then one here. And speaking about decorations, I actually wanted to add a little bit something extra on this mirror, just some extra lighting. I know I said I was gonna add more lighting, but I actually added a lot. I still have one more tiny piece that I need to add, but yeah, I've literally never added this. These are basically called like fairy lights, so I'm just gonna kind of wrap it around where you can see it on the mirror, and hopefully it looks good when it's like turned on. I guess we'll see. Okay, so I just finished adding them. It looks a little bit weird right now when it's not turned on. Hopefully once I turn it on, it actually looks good, but there's just one more thing I need to do. And funny enough, it is still on this wall, even though I said I was done. It is very simple though. It is basically just these puck lights where you can just stick it right under here. And these of course are RGB, so I will be able to change them along with the poster lights. And I think these will just kind of like, I guess like add more lighting. Trust me, once this room is turned on with all the lighting, it's gonna look insane. The only downside to these ones is you're not able to charge them individually, so just keep in mind that I would definitely recommend getting like rechargeable. Oh, that's not even straight. Yup, there we go. But yeah, what I recommend getting with these, if you do actually end up buying these, is make sure you have rechargeable batteries, because they take 3 batteries each, and if you keep them on like a lot, they actually will just like die, and you're gonna be spending like $100 a month on batteries. So that's just a little thing I recommend. Okay, so everything is now completely done, so you guys know what time it is. Let's connect everything, turn it all on, and cue the cinematic. Boom. I'll link everything I used in this room down below, and while you're down there, make sure you subscribe because I have so many room transformations since I just moved. More importantly, remember Jesus loves you, and that's about it. God bless.